Okay. Ha! Coach Helen for YouFit Studio, lead by example. I could have gone so many ways on this one, to be fair. I'm going to go with, I have a scenario in mind, and I didn't necessarily have a client in mind when I started to, hey Heather! Heather, you just missed my whole dress up outfit I'm going to do for Saturday. I'm going to do this to Heather before we go any further, because Heather will love this. Heather, picture this. It's a cold, rainy Saturday morning at Syston Park, and you're getting ready to do the Met, and in the distance you see what appears to be a person in a wetsuit waddling across the park in flippers, a multicoloured tutu, some snorkel gear, armbands, and a unicorn horn. And then you know that Coach Helen has arrived to do Met on Saturday. Leaving you that picture, Heather. Well, I continue and do my life. So, back on track, away from the swimming mermaid unicorn workout person. Yeah, you have joined us for time. That is literally, there's a little emoji there. That is exactly how I appear to come dressed as. Lead by example. Let's get back on the live. So, lead by example. Now, we have a lot of family members and or friends, relatives that are part of YouFit, and that's not coincidence or just convenience. There's a process that happens between clients and their family or friends that ends up with this this scenario, and they never join at the same time, or very, very rarely. It's very rare. And the reason is this, and if you've joined as a single person, if you've joined and you're in the first year of your journey, and your friends and family have not yet joined, I'm going to go through what you might be experiencing at the moment, and let you know, give you some insight into what we tend to see or have seen when it comes down to people joining within their family unit. Now, what is really clear, and I'll say the same things I say quite often because it's true, people are creatures of habit, and we tend to follow or match the behaviours of the people around us in terms of community or tribe or whatever you want to call it. We tend to pick friends, mainly friends to be fair, with the same kind of social behaviours, as in like to do the same things, like to eat at the same places, drink at the same bars, drink the same drinks maybe. And equally within a family unit or a relationship unit, there's usually some commonalities of how people like to spend time when it comes to socialising or any part of life, right? We tend to be drawn to people like us on common ground. So we like to seek similarities in other people, and we tend to be drawn to that as individuals, and that doesn't change from childhood when you're making friends at school up until till now, right? We tend to be drawn to, if you consider even Facebook groups or Instagram people that you follow, etc., they tend to be something you're interested in, that you have some common interest or grounds on, right? So even if you're into, like, I don't know, like Heather, chefing, it's not even a term, cooking, that's more of a term. I assume Heather's going to follow some people who do cooking. I love paddleboarding, so if I follow those people who do paddleboarding, we're drawn to similarities because we like to have commonality with other people. And this can be quite challenging for somebody who joins YouFit at the start and they join as a solo affair. Because what is actually happening in that moment is an individual is making a conscious choice to behave differently from everybody else around them, okay? So an individual is making a conscious choice to behave differently to the individuals around them. Now, I've had over the years quite a lot or different ways that this has been interpreted by a client, or what in fact happens in terms of behaviour of the people around that client or the client themselves, how they feel and what they think about it. What starts to happen is there is a mismatch of behaviours. So if you, let's take, I mean, I've talked about it in some of mine, what I've experienced, so I've experienced this as well. If you take your behaviours with friendship unit is a very clear one. or significant other. If your friendship unit is a friendship unit that likes to go out and drink quite heavily, and actually you're becoming conscious of your alcohol intake from a health perspective as part of the UFIT journey, you're suddenly thrown into a situation where you're changing your behaviours. So where you've all been drawn together with common behaviours, suddenly there's one person who's going, no, or equivalent of that. That wasn't the best. No. I'm sure people don't literally go, no. However, that is how it can feel for some clients. They start to feel disjointed from the people around them, or how would I describe black sheep? I've had black sheep, so I feel like I'm the black sheep now, that I don't fit in, that I'm not accepted, that I'm different, I'm changing, I get teased a lot, and it can be very, very, very challenging actually for that individual. Now, part of the beautiful thing about UFIT is that whilst they may actually become disjointed from their friendship and family circle, it's not like they ditch anyone, by the way. We support them find ways to find solutions to it eventually, you know, because it always is eventually, because it always happens with every single client to some degree. The beautiful thing about UFIT is that everybody at UFIT is actually on the same journey. So to some degree, a client can usually start to balance that behaviour with others that are similar to them. So this is why UFIT is quite a community, and that's where part of this community feel comes from. We don't often talk about it openly, because often you don't need to talk about it with a client until it's actually happening to them. And they do start to have more conversations with people at UFIT in the changing rooms or on the gym floor, or before or after Met class, whatever it is, and start to talk about these things, and then realise that they're not necessarily on their own or out in the cold. They're just in a slightly disjointed area between the person they were before and the person they're becoming. There's a little bit of awkward situation between the two where they've not yet got there, and they're kind of split between the two. Now what really happens is, over time, because this continues, by the way, over time there's a how do I describe it? There's a period of time in which a client will challenge themselves and others around them and almost fight their own corner to continue on their journey. And in doing so, they might get into some very uncomfortable conversations with their friends and family. Well, usually there's just one element, to be fair. And actually, because they have our support as a coaching team and realise that this is part of the process, like I'm explaining now, they will stick to their guns and they will start to continue to behave in a certain way. Now, the interesting thing is that when a client keeps their behaviours, so they stay outside their original tribe, and as they start to join and become part of another and stick to their behaviours, and for example say no to the extra drink, or make different choices when they go out to eat in front of everybody, the more they start to demonstrate that, the more that their old tribe, if you like to say, start to recognise that they're changing. They start to recognise that this individual isn't just doing this as a fad or anything else. They start to see that actually they're behaving differently and they are becoming part of another tribe. Now, rather than trying to pull them back, although some do, often what I actually see is it's the same thing I talked about at the beginning, right? So people like to be like others. And often what you see is that when I say leading by example, you'll have one member of a family who will start to behave differently, will prioritise their health, will start to train regularly, will say no to the billions of biscuits that they've had for all their life, as long as their kids can remember. They will speak about their own health, and for probably the first time in a very long time, repeatedly put themselves first in the situation to ensure that they get the training and the food done and they look after themselves. And this will go on for a number of weeks and months. Now, eventually, what will happen is that through their behaviours, that one singular person, that family, will start to demonstrate to others how important it is. And then without even saying anything, we'll slowly get a little nudge saying, actually, from the client, the existing client, actually, my other half has talked about joining. Or, actually, I was talking to my son the other day and he really wants to come along and see what it's about. Now, that isn't that client being going, come and join, come and join, come and join, come and join. So what's happening is, and happens repeatedly, is that someone's behaviours, leading by example, is actually demonstrating to others, this is a different way of doing things, and I'm not going to match your behaviours anymore. And in doing so, I can still be happy. In fact, I can be happier, healthier, especially when they start to lose weight as well. When they really start to lose weight and really start to change their attitude because they're working on their mindset as well. All those people around them, all that old tribe starts to see the change and recognise it and respect it as well and want to know more. They want some of it themselves. They want to see what this person is experiencing themselves, right? So again, we are still drawn to similar behaviours. We're still drawn to be the same and match each other. And actually, the reason for this live was because there's always tension, I think, for somebody starting out journey. So for anybody who's in their first 6 to 12 months on their journey with YouFit, this is absolutely something that is going to happen. I'm not even saying like it might. I'm not using the word might, like might is a word. This will happen at some degree with somebody within your family unit or your friends, where they start to not pull you back. They will start to signify you're behaving differently. However, the main message is that if you're consistent with what you're doing, if you prioritise the reasons why you started on this journey and wanted to move yourself away from the behaviours you shared with the original tribe, whether it's alcohol, food, or whatever it is, it will pay off eventually, and they will start to match your behaviours, and they will start to respect and support you, because it's just human nature, right? It's just how humans tick. We always want, as I said, to be drawn to similarities. So the more you demonstrate that you have this belief system that actually health is important, in my behaviours, I'm going to show that in my behaviours every single day, that I don't miss a training session, that I'm always on the Zoom met at 10 a.m. That if that means the shopping's late, the shopping's late. If that means I don't clean the house, I don't clean the house. Because guess what? I'm on the Zoom with Heather at 10 and that's it. Or I'm at the park at 4 today. I'm sorry, not my problem. You deal with it, because that is more important than me doing something else for you or me doing something else for somebody else. The more somebody does that, the more others will start to respect your behaviours and your beliefs, and then also start to be drawn to them themselves. It's a fascinating thing. And that's why, like, when we come in, we'll see, like, sometimes, I make the joke, I sometimes feel there's a minibus of entire families coming in. Like, they all come in together, like, probably don't actually all train together. That's the funniest thing. We'll train at separate times just to keep their own distance, their own journey, right? To keep that distance between their journeys. All joking aside, that is why, as a community, because what it is, YouFit is built the way that it is, because there is always somebody who knows somebody. As members, I'm sure at some point, a majority of you, if you're listening or watching back, will have noticed the board, the member board, as you come in and recognise somebody. The amount of times Sam's been showing somebody a studio and they're stood there going, oh, I know that person. Oh, and them. Oh, they talked about this before. Even when I meet clients, like, yes, I actually remember speaking to my friend 6 months ago. She told me about this place, and I've been seeing how she's been changed, how she changed her behaviours. I saw her last week, and I saw how she looked and behaved and how she spoke. I've never seen her change the way she has, or how she's become a different person, and I'm really interested in finding out how I can become part of that, right? If I don't even need £1. We were like, well, there is inflation. Maybe 50 pence. I'll take 50 pence for every time I've heard it. I'd be doing all right. I would be doing okay, because that is why you have such a community. One of the reasons, not why, one of the reasons why you have such a community feel is because actually somebody in the friendship or family community has started to lead by example, and others have wanted to follow that example because they've seen how beneficial it is. So to repeat, the reason why I've done this live is because if you're in that process where you're in that no man's land that I mentioned earlier, where you're transitioning between one set of behaviours and the ones that you want to work towards, know that you will get there, and know that if you have that feeling of being disjointed from your previous, you can still behave, like there's always a middle ground. I talk about this all the time. If you're feeling that disjointed kind of sense from how you used to behave, and the draw still to all you want to, it's okay to have that sensation, and it's okay to actually have a discussion with us as coaches about it, because we all expect it in someone's journey. There's always the rare feeling like, I don't care anymore, I just do what I want, and if they do it, they don't, if they don't. However, it does often cause a lot of tension. So, recap. It's great today. I can actually not get blinded by sunlight or anything. After this, I'm going to get my waterproofs out. Am I going to get my wetsuit out after this, Heather? Going to get my wetsuit. Get my arm in. Get my wetsuit in my arm. Find my flippers and go to the park. Before that, recap. So as I said, that often we have people join on their own, and yet, you know, in 18 months' time, we seem to have the entire family unit and all their friendship circle as members as well. And that's not just a coincidence. There's lots of reasons why, but primarily it comes down to the tribe kind of behaviour, or leading by example. We love, right? So I keep saying it, we love being like we love. We're drawn to people we have things in common with. And we like to spend time in commonality with family as well, that we all know we enjoy. And when one person joins YouFit and starts saying, I no longer wish to behave in that particular way, they always go through a process of feeling like they're on the outside, feeling like somehow they don't fit into the where they were before. And also they might not be accepted, or we've had it before where people say, I feel like I'm going to lose my friends, or I feel like I have to lose my friends to become the person I want to be, because I don't fit in with their behaviours anymore. And we support them through that and find a happy medium for them. In the meantime, though, they will always continue, because we support them, they will always continue on their pathway to become healthier, fitter, etc. And in sticking to that process, what they're doing is they're leading by example with their peers and their family. And when people around you start to see that change, feel it, seeing your behaviours, how you act, how you talk, your choice in terms of your health, they start to really see the benefits without you having to say anything. That's the thing about it. You don't have to say a dicky bird. They will start to subconsciously do the same thing. Like, oh, I'm really drawn to, I like that person. I want to do what they're doing. I still want to have some commonality with that person. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to get interested. And it can be really rocky in that middle bit, don't get me wrong, but between those 2 points, it can be really rough for both parties to kind of adjust to that person's moved out of our behaviours. And, you know, the client will always say, like I just said, they always say, Helen, I don't know if I should get rid of my friends, or I need new friends. I'm like, whoa, no, it's okay, it's all right. They will get there, they will accept you, you will still be able to socialise with them, they will accept you, to keep going. And that's the main story, that's the main message. Sounds really simple, just keep going. However, ultimately, that is why we have so many family units and friendship units within the studio. It's because somebody eventually will go, I want a bit of that. I might have not really got it when they started going. I might have questioned them a little bit, challenged them, offered them another drink, offered them another dessert, really kind of tempted them a little bit. Actually though, now I see what they're doing. Now I see what they're doing, actually doing and acting and taking action on and changing. I want to get in there and have a bit and actually reconnect. So it's okay, if you are having that bit of tension right now, either quietly or overtly sometimes, it's okay. Firstly, talk to us, if you remember, right? But that's what we're here for. Good old Chingwell about, when we can talk you through all kinds of ways of navigating it. Ultimately, know that leading by example means that also you are leading yourself, right, to some degree, as a final summation. You're leading yourself into a healthier lifestyle, and you're ultimately only responsible for yourself. You can't lead others, like physically. They will follow you though eventually, and that's the important thing to remember. You can still keep all of your friends and family and keep a healthier future. They'll eventually come along. They have no choice eventually. They'll want a bit of the community banter, if anything. They want to see me in a wetsuit on a park with flippers on, doing knee drives. I mean, who wouldn't? That is health and safety waiting to happen, isn't it? I might just get... well, Heather, you missed me suggesting slip and slide, but, you know. It's summer, people. It's August. We should make the most of it while we've got it. So, if you're not at the park tonight, you're missing out on a treat. Here, tomorrow at 5, I'm doing 5 principles of nutrition. Or good nutrition. I'll say better. Say better nutrition. That sounds more nice. So 5 Principles of Better Nutrition. Nice and simple. So tune in for that one if you want some simple hints and tips how to get your food on track. In the meantime, enjoy the weather. Joe, enjoy your 90s film. I'll find you that one from Netflix I was watching the other night, and catch you all tomorrow.